Hey everybody, and this video once again brings us back out to Walt Disney World. We are here at the Magic Kingdom. Look at Cinderella Castle. As I said 100 times before, I will never get sick and tired of looking at Cinderella Castle. But we're not here for the castle today. We are here to talk about something completely different. I want to take you guys to a really cool part of the Magic Kingdom, Liberty Square. I want to show you something really awesome over in Liberty Square. So this whole area is made to kind of look and feel like a revolutionary sort of a town or a city during the time of the Revolutionary War. So think 1776, 1777. That is what we are walking into right now as we cross over this bridge. It's a really beautiful, interesting piece of the Magic Kingdom. And if you're like me and you're a big fan of Revolutionary War history, and you grew up in the Northeast and you're used to cities like Boston or Philadelphia, then you kind of feel right at home in a place like this. It really does feel like old school Philadelphia, although I think they're going more maybe for a sort of Boston kind of feel, but it definitely has sort of an old school Philadelphia kind of feel. So I really do like this part of the park, but I want to show you guys one thing in particular, one really awesome, amazing piece of Liberty Square that I have always been a huge fan of, because as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of trees. I love big, gigantic, interesting trees. I've taken you guys to see all kinds of cool trees in the past, witness trees, things like that. And today, we're gonna take a look at the Liberty Tree. Look at this. This is amazing. This is awesome. It's a gigantic tree growing right here in the middle of the Magic Kingdom. This thing is pretty awesome. I've always been fascinated with this tree. I've always enjoyed looking at this tree. I've enjoyed sitting underneath the tree. And there's a really cool history behind this tree as well, which of course, for me, is something else that just makes me love this tree even more. So there are a couple of plaques here. This one says the Liberty Tree. Under the boughs of the original Liberty Tree in Boston in 1765, patriots calling themselves the Sons of Liberty gathered to protest the imposition of the Stamp Act. In the years that followed, almost every American town had a Liberty Tree, a living symbol of the American freedom of speech and assembly. Our Liberty Tree is a southern live oak, Quercus Virginia, if I'm saying that right, probably not. More than 100 years old. So this tree, at the time it was planted, was over 100 years old. So you're looking at a tree that's at least 150 years old. Over though, most likely 150 years old. This is awesome. So cool, a southern live oak tree. But again, there is a really interesting history behind this tree. It's not just here as a symbol of a Liberty Tree. You would think that, okay, a little part of the park that's supposed to recreate like Boston or old school Philadelphia, of course they would have a Liberty Tree, but again, there's more history behind it than just that. This plaque here says the Liberty Tree. The original Liberty Tree, a stately elm, was a rallying point for pre-revolutionary activities. The open space under its branches was called a Liberty Hall, and a flagpole was erected through its branches with a hoisted flag, the symbol for action. Countless inflammatory cartoons and verses were nailed to its trunk, and many Tories hung an effigy from its branches. Perhaps his proudest moment was the repeal of the Stamp Act, when innumerable lanterns blazed among its branches for all to see. And as you can see, there are lanterns hanging on this tree. 13 lanterns to be exact. One, of course, to represent the original 13 colonies. My question is, which one represents Pennsylvania? You can see each one is I think each one's slightly different. I'm looking at them all now. I don't think two lanterns are the same. Every single one is slightly different from the other. So I do wonder if each lantern has its own state. I wonder if somebody who is in charge of this tree, or you can talk back to an old Imagineer, I wonder if they could tell you, oh yeah, that one right there is Delaware, that's Georgia, that's Virginia, that's Pennsylvania, that's New York. I wonder if they know, because I do want to know which one is from my home state of Pennsylvania. Which one of these represents Pennsylvania? I'm going to say I'm gonna say, maybe the lowest hanging one right here. I'm just gonna call this one right here. That's the Pennsylvania lantern. I don't actually know if each lantern has a state or not, but I'm just gonna call it right now. This right here, you can tell all your friends. This right here, as far as I'm concerned, that's the Pennsylvania lantern. Again, it's probably not, but I'm saying it is. So I was just talking to a cast member who overheard me, and he was saying that he does believe that each one of these lanterns does indeed have a state that it represents. He did not know which state was represented by which lantern, but he said he had been told that each one does indeed have a state that it belongs to. That is pretty awesome. That is really, really cool. So such an interesting, amazing tree. Again, a southern live oak. Not an elm, but a southern live oak, because that's what grows down here. Very, very cool to represent Walt Disney World, the Magic Kingdom's Liberty tree here in Liberty Square. It is such a cool, interesting, awesome tree. Again, I love a cool tree. I know it's the little things in life for me sometimes, and trees do it for me. I love it. So this is really, really cool. But again, like I said, not only is this neat because of what it is, because it is a Liberty tree, it's also really cool because there's some really interesting, like, just Disney history behind this tree. So you may be wondering, where did this tree come from? Was it always here on property back when they built the Magic Kingdom? Did the tree just happen to be here and they said, okay, let's build around it? That is not the case. This tree was not built around. This tree was actually brought here. It was already over 100 years old when they brought this tree here from 8 miles away. It was on Disney property. So it actually was a tree on Disney property, but not growing right here in the Magic Kingdom. This tree was growing elsewhere, 8 miles away from this park. This tree was growing. So how would they bring this tree here? How would they get this tree 8 miles away back in the 70s? How would they do that? Well, methods back then for moving trees involved putting like ropes and chains around it and kind of just like hoisting it up and bringing it here. Basically, the means to move a tree back then, it wasn't going to work. They couldn't use those methods without damaging the tree. The tree was going to be damaged and it was surely going to die. So what would they do? How would they move this tree? They came up with this ingenious idea of actually boring holes through the trunk and inserting metal pins through the trunk. And that is how they actually lifted and carried the tree. And since trees are quite resilient, after they had placed the tree and they supposedly left the actual bars in the tree for a little while, they let the tree gather its strength, have it had its roots, get put in place. The tree was good, it was healthy, it was still growing. They then removed the bars, put pieces of hard wood into the holes to plug the holes up, and the tree healed itself, because that's how trees work. Trees are quite fascinating. If you've ever seen like places where they actually take trees and they bend them in weird ways, or they split them, or they make them into like big arches and stuff, you can do amazing things with trees. You can splice different trees together. If a tree branch breaks, you can actually splice like tree branches together to keep the tree growing. It's really cool. I've seen trees that have been struck by lightning and the tree is pretty much completely dead except for like this one part that's still growing. I've seen trees growing out of things. It's really crazy. I've seen trees are the most amazing, interesting things. Trees are extremely resilient when it comes to growing in strange, weird ways. And this tree did have holes bored directly into its trunk to get it here, to move it 8 miles away from a section on Disney property to Liberty Square here in the Magic Kingdom. That is cool. And 50 years later, actually over 50 years later, a little over 50 years later, it's actually still here, still growing, still strong. You can see there are some wires through the branches. I've been told that that's kind of just to keep the branches sort of intact and growing the way they kind of want the tree to be growing. That is so cool. So over 150 years old. This tree is still going strong here at the Magic Kingdom. So really awesome of the Disney's like horticulture team to figure out a way to move this tree and to get it here safely. There apparently were people who were saying that nope, that's not gonna work. Your method of moving this tree, it's going to kill the tree. And they proved them wrong. They got the tree here, and again, it's still growing. That is cool. Again, I love the history behind this tree. So what's also really cool is if you're a big fan of just Disney in general, of Walt Disney in general, the rumor has it, he actually hand-picked this tree. He knew that he wanted a Liberty Square. He knew he wanted something like this in the park that was in the plans. He knew he wanted this to be built here in Walt Disney World. And supposedly, the rumor goes, he actually hand-picked this tree. He saw this tree on property, again, 8 miles away on a different part of the property, but he saw this tree on property and said, this is the tree we should use. This is the tree that should be our Liberty tree in our Liberty Square. Now, whether or not that's actually true or not, I mean, again, it's a rumor, it's a tall tale. That's supposedly what happened. Who knows if Walt Disney actually handpicked this tree out or not. But I like to think he did. I like to think that Disney was scoping out his property. He was walking around, figuring out, how he was gonna build things, maybe thinking of the future. I mean, let's face it, Walt Disney was always thinking of the future. I guarantee you, he was like, okay, we're gonna put the Magic Kingdom in here, but then he was probably thinking okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. He was already planning on doing the Epcot, the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. He already had a whole town that he had planned on building here. So I guarantee you, he was scoping out the land and figuring out how his town was gonna be laid out, how his park was gonna be laid out, maybe what else he was gonna do in the future. And he probably saw this tree and thought, that's it, that's the tree. This tree is perfect, it's beautiful, it's amazing, it looks like a Liberty tree. Let's put that in the Magic Kingdom. All right, again, so the story goes. This is also the largest tree that the Disney horticulture team has ever moved. In fact, they were actually so proud of themselves and so impressed with the fact that they actually moved this tree successfully. They adopted the tree as their logo. So the Disney horticulture team actually uses this right here, this Liberty tree, as the logo for, again, the Disney horticulture team. That is really, really awesome. The fact that they were so proud of moving this. They were so proud of their accomplishment. They were so proud of the fact that they were able to move this tree, come up with a new ingenious way of moving this tree that everybody told them they were crazy to do. A lot of people told them it's not gonna work. Experts were saying, no, 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 do not move the tree that way. But they came up with this ingenious way to move this tree. They knew they were right. They knew they had a good idea, and they moved it successfully. And again, it's been growing ever since, and they adopted this tree as the logo, again, for the Disney horticulture team. That is so cool. Again, so much interesting Disney history behind this tree. Everybody just walks past this tree. They probably think nothing about it. They probably just think it's just another tree here in the park. They probably don't read the plaques. They probably don't know the meaning behind this, the fact that it is a Liberty tree. And I guarantee you, they don't know what went into getting this tree here and the history behind this tree. The fact that it was moved again 8 miles from a different part of the property, and that supposedly Walt Disney picked out this tree himself. So much cool history behind this tree. And that's why I love Disney and Disney history, because you might look at, that building there and think nothing of it. You just walk past that stuff, but there's probably really cool history behind that. There's all these little tidbits of history and just weird facts that go into so much of the Disney parks. Even something as cool, and it's just sort of, well, to me, something as cool as a giant tree, but something as just sort of mundane, I guess you could say, to your average Joe. Just a tree, just another tree growing in a park. What makes this tree different from the trees over there or from the trees over there? A lot makes this tree different from all the rest of the trees in the park. I guarantee you, most people don't know what this tree is when they walk past it, but I know the history, and there's a ton of history behind this tree, and now you guys know. So when you come down here, when you're walking around the Magic Kingdom, you look at this tree, you can read the plaques, and you can know what this tree truly does represent. And you can know that Walt Disney possibly had a hand in getting this tree here. Unfortunately, I did want to film this video before the sun went down. I did not want to film this video in the dark, but these lanterns do light up. They are actually all lit. So at night, once the sun does set, once the park gets dark and all the lights around the park turn on, these lanterns do actually light up. You can see inside there is There's a little tiny light bulb inside every one of these lanterns. Every single one of these has a light inside them, which is really, really cool. Again, this tree at night looks absolutely amazing. Such a cool sight to see. So are you from one of the original 13 colonies? Leave your comments down below. Does your town happen to have a Liberty Tree? Maybe you're from Boston, where the original Liberty Tree is. I want to hear your comments down below. I want to hear more about Liberty Trees, because I want to go visit some more Liberty Trees. I mean, this one is, I mean, it's a fake Liberty Tree. I mean, it's a Liberty Tree. It is what it is. It's a real Liberty Tree, but it wasn't a tree that was actually used during pre-Revolutionary War times, or even during Revolutionary War times. But it is a symbol of our freedom. It is a symbol of the Revolutionary War, of the American Revolution. So yes, it's a tree planted here to be a symbol of Liberty Trees, to pay respect to Liberty Trees. But it's also, I'm gonna say, it is also a Liberty Tree. They call it a Liberty Tree. It is 100% a Liberty Tree. But I wanna go visit more Liberty Trees. I wanna go visit more that were actually used during revolutionary times, or during revolutionary times. I wanna go visit more of those trees. Definitely something I have to do. So if you have one, leave your comments down below. I might have to come to your town and film the tree. Take a look at some more Liberty Trees. But all right, guys, that's gonna do it. I wanted to show this off to you, wanted to talk about this with you guys. If you've ever been out here and you've actually stopped to take a look at this tree, if you've ever actually read the plaques that are out here, if you've taken the time to do that, because again, not a lot of people do, unfortunately. Not a lot of people read the signs. They just come out here and they sit down, they take a load off their feet, they maybe eat some popcorn, eat a turkey leg, something like that, but they don't actually take the time to really realize what this is. They're busy. They're trying to get over to the Haunted Mansion. They're trying to get onto Tron. They're trying to get to Space Mountain. They're trying to get to whatever their next attraction is, whatever their next meal reservation is, whatever restaurant reservation they have. They're trying to get from point A to point B as quickly as they can, and they just sit here on this ledge to take a load off, but they don't realize what this tree is, what it represents, and what the history behind it is. So if you've ever done that, leave your comments down below. I want to hear from you guys. So awesome. But all right, guys, with that, it is still a little bit warm out. Once again, I've dressed not appropriately for the heat. Jeans and a blue t-shirt this time, but still a dark color t-shirt. I'm a little warm. So all right, guys, that is gonna do it. So as always, thank you all so much for checking out this video. Be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Check down below for links to Patreon. If you guys do become a patron, I will send you a postcard every single month from the road. Also check down below for a link to Spreadshirt, where you can grab yourself retro rest stop t-shirts. Proceeds, both from Spreadshirt and from Patreon, do help support the show. And they do keep the show going, so I really do appreciate it. Also, you can check out the link to become a member, a YouTube member of this channel. You do that, you do get early access to all my videos. You can be the first to leave a comment, so I really do appreciate all that stuff, guys. It helps support the show, it keeps the show going, brings us out to awesome, amazing places like this to see really cool things like the Liberty Tree here, the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. And again, if you have one of these, leave your comments down below. Let me know where your Liberty Tree is. Let me know what town it's in. I want to go out to your town. I want to see your town's Liberty Tree. I want to know the history of your town's Liberty Tree. Or if you've ever stopped to actually read the plaques and you stop to learn the history behind Walt Disney World's, or possibly even Walt Disney's Liberty Tree, then leave your comments down below. All right, guys, and if you watch this video all the way to the very end, you know what? Hashtag Walt Disney's Liberty Tree. There you go. Walt Disney's Liberty Tree. Hashtag that if you guys watch this video all the way until the very end. But all right, so as always, like I said, thanks for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you do hit that subscribe button, or you are subscribed, then I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys. Bye. Hold on, guys. I know you're wondering, where was Danielle and Max this entire time? They were eating. You were eating over at the plaza? Did you get ice cream without me?
I did get ice cream without you.
I'm thinking I might need to get some ice cream now, but honestly, you know what? I don't know. I'm kind of feeling a little like icky. Maybe it's because we're standing in poo right now, Max. We're standing in the poo. I've explained this before, but keep watching these videos, and in the future, I'll explain to you what I mean by that. We're literally walking in human feces right now here at Walt Disney World. All right, I'll see you guys next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.